real feud begins is the title of this review. And we had a very interesting show here. Now, some stuff I got to get out of the way ahead of time. Being in the 3200 Arena in Pittsburgh, I'm mispronouncing it. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. I'm bad with numbers. And I'm bad with everything else. But the 3200 Arena is a place you can't just easily forget. It is one of the places that has had some of the greatest stories ever told. Some of the best matches ever known. Now, that's always going to be debated because there's some people that say the stuff that WCW did in different places or WWE/WWF have done it as well. But with the smaller companies, including ECW, they had their mark. Now, did this really help the show? The fans were mostly loud, yeah. But the problem I felt was that we still have some production problems. I will say the camera work was a bit better because whoever was running the camera, they believed that they need to switch the camera from one place to another much more faster to compensate for this. So I will at least commend them for realizing they had an issue, that they needed to try and make the camera work a little bit better. It didn't help a lot, but I will say that. Lighting was bad. Due to the fact they didn't put the lights in the right places, it looked bad. I'm sorry. You could not see anybody coming from where the Titantron was, from the ramp coming down. It was dark. Now, if anyone says, look, the 3200 Arena is supposed to be dark, bullshit. I've seen when ECW used to work there, they didn't have it so pitch damn dark that when the camera finally got into an area that was bright, it overexposed itself like my camera's doing right now. Now it's getting low. Now it's getting high. You can see the difference of overexposure compared to underexposure like you saw in this show, which was that sometimes when you saw, and I will talk about Moose in a minute, when you saw this situation, he was like that. I'm so glad I have this camera. It works pretty well. Now, let's go to Josh Alexander and Moose, since they opened the show. When Moose, well, let me put it like this, and I know there's several people who just don't like Josh Alexander. I think two of the people who come to my show, come to my podcast, come to my review, that just can't stand Josh. You're going to be happy right now because I'm not going to cover this very much. Because Rebellion's still quite a ways off, and they're gonna give us filler until then. So what's gonna happen with Madman Fulton, we already know what's going to happen. Either it's gonna be one, Madman Fulton's gonna get his ass whooped, or two, Moose is gonna interfere and let Madman Fulton get the win. That's what we're gonna get. But here, did Josh do a decent job on the mic? Yes. And whatever anybody says, they can't stand him and he can't talk because he's got something stuck in his mouth like nuts. Shut your damn mouth up and listen to a fair reviewer. And I know you're not going to listen to me. You're going to say whatever you're going to say on the type. But I'm saying this as a fair reviewer. Did he get his point across? Yes. Did he get angry about his wife and kid? Yes. Now, do you believe he gave enough emotion? He is not like a very emotional person. He just doesn't have the type of face to show it. He doesn't. Whether you like it or not, he's more of a Kurt Angle type of person that doesn't show a huge amount of emotion when he's talking. That's the way he is. He's not great on the mic, just like Kurt Angle wasn't very great on the mic when he was wrestling. No matter how much you want to say he's good, true, damn true, he had his points where he was never always great on the mic. And Josh is one of those times where he's just not great on the mic due to the fact he can't relay emotion as well as others. But can he still get his point across? Yes. Moose comes out in like this. And you can't tell me that didn't happen because it did. It was too damn dark. We could barely see him. So, nose is itching. Allergies, I can't stand them. But when you see what he said, talking about his family, about his kid, and then pretty much saying, you know what, don't worry about your son. I'm going to take care of him way better than you because I know how to take care of a family. Josh stands there blank for a moment, attacks after that. Now, many people say that shows how stupid he is. He can't get the work done. No. You can say that if a person honestly gets something like that, not everyone responds immediately. It takes a moment to process. As someone said, I'm going to be taking over your life and fucking your woman and taking your kid as my own. That takes a moment to process. I know this because I've been through it myself. In a better respectful way, at least. I didn't have a guy say, I'm fucking your woman, the kid is mine, fuck you, try to do something, I'm going to hurt you. I didn't get that, luckily for me. But knowing how Josh acted is something I did go through myself, where for a moment I found out something happened to my son that was involved with my ex-wife, about to be ex at that time, that made me literally freeze in my steps. And I had to process it for a few seconds before I acted and do whatever I did. So honestly, seeing that from a parent's point of view is understandable. And then he tries to whoop his ass throughout most of the 3200 arena. And that is where we get... Whoa. Something's going on inside. I think it's raining. Sorry, guys. But essentially speaking, when you see it, Madman Fulton gets in the way, he gets attacked, and that's where the match comes in. And if you want to know what that was, it sounds like it's raining again right now. But the point is, you can easily see this wasn't 100% bad. Yes, Josh Alexander's not great on the mic. He doesn't relay the emotion like most people can. But it doesn't mean he didn't do a bad job. Now, let's get these two segments over. The influence, and when it comes to Johnny Swinger with Ziggy Dice. Let's do Ziggy Dice and Johnny Swinger first, because I noticed someone that's truly happy. I believe he's a subscriber. If you are, I hope you're enjoying my content. But he loves Johnny Swinger. He loves Ziggy Dice. He's been hoping they work together. And now Johnny Swinger, who's opened up the Swinger Dungeon, opens up the Swinger Dungeon. He basically says, look, I'm paying, I'm working with you, but I gotta know that if you're really good for my dungeon. So next week we're gonna have a match against two Hamanagers, and yes, you paid me some money just to be preliminary in my dungeon. To keep going to the dungeon, I need to know what I'm dealing with and how I'm going to, yeah, daddy, train you. Guys, I'm gonna be honest to you here. Is Johnny Swinger funny? Yes. He has his moments. Is Ziggy Dice funny? Yes, he has his moments. Do you believe, if you're a sensible human being, that Ziggy Dice and Johnny Swinger stuck together can make comedic gold? Yes, they could. Counting if they're booked properly. And they're not booked properly. And there's the problem. Instead of having them come together naturally, that one is getting his ass whooped and is frustrated and angry, and the other one's going through the same thing, you now see them together, realizing they're both getting screwed over, and they realize, you know what, we need a tag team that no one can beat, daddy. That back in the 80s, we could truly do something, or the 90s, we can truly do it, daddy. That is what we should get. But no. We're getting a Johnny Swinger opening up a dungeon of his own. A Ziggy Dice who feels like he's lost. And now you're bringing them together because Swinger's the sensei. You got him as a kanji. And basically, you're going to have them come together that way, which in many terms, and I'm sorry guys who really want to see this, there's a good possibility this will not last long because it's not being built to last long. This feels like filler comedic gold, not comedic gold that could be stretched. Breezango being a detective agency and acting like they were from the X-Files, that was long-term comedic gold. That was back in 2016 on SmackDown. They made it gold because they let them go and do what they want. Here, I just don't think it's going to work for very long because I do believe they're just going to do it for maybe a couple of weeks to a month and they're going to break them apart. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm fine with it. but that's just me. Now, let's get to the next match. The lumberjack match between Violence by Design and the Good Brothers. You see that the lumberjacks on both sides really didn't like either one of them because they were both heels. Flat out. Yes, you had people in Bullet Club there. You got basically Diener of Violence by Design by himself. But pretty much nobody liked either one of them. Now, what does this actually mean for Honor No More? They chose the lesser of two evils. They believe that Violence by Design is weaker than the Good Brothers. So they basically help the Good Brothers to win. No, not win. Lose. So they can go after Violence by Design to try and get their tag titles. Sorry I said win when it came to the Good Brothers. But let me put it to you like this. It's a good booking. You know why, Botch? There's no other teams. I know they have teams there, but do we see them? Violence by Design and the Good Brothers are the most prominent teams there. What about what's going on with Honor No More? I know they show a little bit of Bullet Club, yes, but that's with the Good Brothers. Yes, you are going to get Jay White and the Chris Bay, the ultimate smooth criminal, dealing with the Motor City Machine Guns. So they're already in their own feud. But when you take away from those, who else do you have but Honor No More? Yes, I know people are going to say, what about, well, look, when it comes to Madman Fulton, when it comes to Ace Austin, they've been used for so long, they needed to break them up. That's why you're going to see them less and less. It doesn't mean Ace isn't still going to work with Madman Fulton or vice versa. But you're not going to see them much because you've shown them so much as a tag team and you never let them win the titles. This is what you get. I'm just saying. Now, Macklin versus the Heath. Now, I know I could have done this earlier because it was on the card in that order, but I don't like doing that. I like to mix it up a little bit. Now, what does this actually mean? Because Macklin got pretty much Rhino ejected by faking. Think about a little bit of Chris Jericho. That was done weeks ago, this recording. So this happened before Chris Jericho did his trick on this Dynamite. So this happened weeks before. Remember, they do them in batches, these recordings. It was smart to see that Macklin tricked the ref into kicking out a Rhino. But he didn't, well, let me give it to you like this. Seeing that Macklin had to cheat to win, because he had to, just made him feel weaker. Because Macklin already was weak due to the fact he didn't win the X Division, which he should have. He should have won the X Division. He should have won it. He should have. I say it again. He should have won it. Whether you like him in the X Division or not, he should have won it because he was going after Trey, who should have dropped it. He didn't need the title anymore. He put himself over. So seeing that he's still dealing with Rhino, that's filler. What a waste. You could have done something special with Macklin as X Division champion. And you could have still had him mess with Rhino. But I'm just saying. Now, AC Romero. I finally said it right because I kept saying Romero versus an Eddie Edwards. Let me give it to you like this. Can these guys have good matches? Yes, they can, and they had a good one. There's no problem. Just Eddie shouldn't be the leader of Honor No More. It should have been Chris Sabin. I say it again. Chris Sabin, who's been there literally when the door is freaking open, should have been the leader of Honor No More. Because he has the credentials as a true original. And they could have done something totally different where they could have had Chris Sabin versus Alex Shelley in a feud. Two guys who've known each other for so long where Alex Shelley could not be converted over to Honor No More. And Chris Sabin is basically the bad guy, and you could have done something. And eventually you could always bring them back together as Motor City Machine Guns. But that could have been something different you wouldn't seen. Not in a long time. I'm just saying. Basically, what did we get? At the end, yes, you got Eddie winning. He did. He managed to use the cross arm breaker that Rocky could not. I think I said AC Romero. Sorry if I said AC instead of Rocky. But pretty much, I always get AC and Rocky mixed up. But pretty much, he used a cross arm breaker to roll him up and win the match. And then afterward, he tried to shake his hand. I believe I got a shot of it in my face. He tricked him. He kicked him. And then while he was about to break his neck, in a sense, you got Gresham. Jonathan Gresham, the Big Mama Pump's husband, Jonathan Gresham, who's supposed to still be the Ring of Honor champion, running out, wanted to break pretty much an Eddie's neck because he was one who beat the crap out of him. He wanted to get his hands on him. Question is, what are they going to do with this particularly? And let's get out of Impact for a moment. Jonathan is not going to be there long because now that Ring of Honor has been bought by a Tony Khan, eventually that title has to be dropped back to Ring of Honor. It's got to be dropped eventually. Unless they're going to issue a new title, Jonathan is going to go back and maybe Super Card or Super Honor Card, I believe that's what it's called. I can't remember the name of it. He will have to drop it there unless he's coming back to the company. Well, not the company, to the new company of AEW, because he's got to go through AEW before he gets back into Ring of Honor, which is developmental possibly. There you go. Now, we get the next segment. Originally, this was going to be the title, Run, Caleb, Run, because Caleb is being chewed out by the Influence because of what happened in the match between them and the Inspiration. You got Tennille wanting to know simply because this is where it gets interesting. She does her All About Me and lets him be the host this time. And instead of letting him ask a question, she wanted to ask him a question. Like the roles were reversed. And she said, so who was the one you were throwing that little thing to help win the match? Was it me or was it Jessica? I believe it was Jessie. And he started having problems in his neck. He started having problems. I've been having problems with my neck. I got a bad stiff neck. But he just didn't know what to do, so he tries to run away. And then you go from All About Me to Locker Room Talk, which hasn't been seen in so long, I forgot the segment even existed. He is forced to sit down with a Johnny Swinger, a Tennille Dashwood, and a Madison Rayne, who asked him, where are your loyalties lying? And he says simply, look, I was doing it for you guys. You. But then, instead of letting it go, you got Madison Rayne saying, okay, I like what you said, but please put this on. A lie detector piece, well, with some cords or something. I don't know if I got the shot. I will put it in my face if I do. But she wants him to be strapped to a lie detector to find out if he's freaking lying or not. And then he runs away. Guys, if you like this segment, it's understandable. They're making it about Caleb with a K. Very rarely Caleb gets a shine. You used to have him as Suicide, and they never really did anything with him except spots. When he became Caleb Connery again and went to NWA, he only stayed there for a little while when they first started up Power, and then he came right back to Impact. And since then, he's done almost nothing other than being back up to the Influence or dealing with the Inspiration. Now they're focusing on him. Oh, I wish the thing that I wrote, came up with, it's not my book and wrestler, it's actually my Gump report. I can't remember what number it is. I wrote a Gump report and made a Gump report on what would happen if Caleb with a K became a psychotic suicide, a violent, sadistic suicide. I kind of wish they went there. Now, mind you, is this bad? 100% no. The question is going to be, where does this end? Will Caleb do one of two things? One, either choose either side. Either he's going to go to Influence or Inspiration, or he will go to a third party. Either go off on his own or go to someone else. That's what the question is. He could just go by himself. There are two possibilities. He'll go to either side, or someone else is going to take him away from both inspiration and influence. Yes, I could easily say he's going to be on by himself, but I doubt it. I don't think they're going to go there. I'm just saying. Now, what else? Let's get into the final match of the night. And this is where the title comes in. The real feud begins. Mickie James versus a Tasha Steelz in a street fight. Now, supposedly, Chelsea was told not to come out. And then the Boricua badass said to Lacey Evans, well, not Lacey Evans. You see, I don't care about Sienna Evans because she reminds me of Lacey Evans. I don't hate the women in real life. They're probably good women, but the way they're booked sucks. Now, I'll say this. She was supposed to stay out of it, but halfway through the match, she does show up and eventually interferes in the match. She does help her out, and then she got a powerbomb for her trouble. It was actually quite interesting to see her go through, well, barely see her go through a table because the lighting at ringside was so bad. It was not good. Like I said, the camera work was very bad when it came to the lighting. The lighting was low, and then when they zoom in, it got lower and darker, and then when they zoom back, you got that. Or you got this. You don't need to take my point of view of it. You don't need to take anything I say. Go over to YouTube and see whatever segments that was from the show and wrestling, and you will see it for yourself. The lighting was bad. But in the end, it was a good match. I did enjoy how the dynamic between them was there. In the beginning, when you see Tasha comes out holding the title, you see Mickie throws that aluminum, very light aluminum, lid from the trash can at her. The look on her face, I didn't catch it, but was good. It showed how truly pissed off she was. And in the end, by the time it was near its end, and they were choking out of Mickie with a chair, Chelsea comes out with a chair with the cast, and then she opens her chair, and I believe I got a shot of it. She sits down, and she's watching, and she's doing nothing. And Mickie gets destroyed, and Tasha maintains and keeps her title. And after it's all over, you got Mickie look like she's about to cry because Chelsea didn't help her when she ran out. And she's telling you shouldn't have done it. I was told not to do anything. This is all your fault. This is what you want, woman. Deal with it, bitch. Smack in the face. And the true feud begins. That I believe is what really needed to be done. This is what I think, guys. They decided, the brass in the back, that when Tasha finally wins the title, it was not going to be 100% about Tasha. It was going to be about Chelsea Green dealing with a Mickie James in a real feud, where this could culminate, and this is just me, where this could eventually culminate in a Boricua. I hate to think she's a transitional champion. I do believe she's going to keep it for a while, but eventually Chelsea Green and Mickie James will be fighting over that title. Now, either Mickie is going to regain it, and then Chelsea is going to be going after it, or Chelsea will get it, and Mickie will be going after her with a possible, because you got Matt Cardona doing a Rough Rider, or Radio of Silence, my mistake. A Radio Silence Rough Rider. A Radio Silence on her helped up a Mickie James to let a Chelsea, his wife, that he gave a nice juicy kiss, it's in my face, I know I got that shot, I'm sure of it, to nail her in those boots. There's a possibility of Nick Aldis, formerly known as Magnus, I don't think he will, but it would be a good thing if he did come at Rebellion. If Nick Aldis comes to Rebellion by the end of this month, the end of next month, it actually could make really good waves to see a Nick Aldis who just went up against a Matt Cardona in their pay-per-view that just passed, the one I just did my review to, and I wish to thank everyone for looking. I didn't think anybody look at it. It got like 160 views on night 2 of the Crockett Cup. It would actually make sense. Nick Aldis doing a one-time only over an Impact actually would be pretty good. But that would be at Rebellion. I believe that would be the best time to do it. And that's if they're going to do it if he's going to be booked to do it. But that's just me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Zane's View, please give me a comment below. Anyone who's asking about the multiverse with Impact, I might do it, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm hoping you'll remind me next week, if I do forget, to leave comments below next week to remind me that the multiverse wrestling match, when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling Noah, Impact Wrestling, anywhere else, AAA I believe is also in there. Remind me if I don't forget. Peace.